I'm finally getting sober. And this time I know why. I've been smoking for half of my life, since I was about 15. I'm currently 30. And it started out super social. I'd hang out with friends, we'd smoke, we'd laugh, we'd joke. And that pretty much continued on until about maybe 25-ish, I'd say. That's a fair number. But after that, it became something where it wasn't social. And in fact, the weed made me less social. Very antisocial, actually. Now, I could have mornings where I don't smoke, right? But I smoked like, I guess last night or so I was still kind of high. But I think today was the first day I went to work completely sober. And I really wasn't gonna do it because I hadn't smoked last night either, or that day. But I was at home just chilling. And I was just like, well, because I clean the swimming pools where I live at, right? So this was my last pool, which means, for me at least, well, I guess that's what it means. Once I got to this pool, I could take my break and go in my crib and just relax. I could smoke there. So I was like, let me just see if I can make it until, and then if I change my mind, I'll do it. But I noticed something about myself. I was more social. I wanted to talk. And I was more willing to hear people out. And I also didn't seem completely distracted by the other people looking at me, because I'll be honest, I'm somewhat of a distant person a lot of times. It's very hard to nail me down. It's like I'm like elusive. I'm always in passing somehow. And I think that is kind of what the weed has done to me over time. It just makes me, I default to just being quiet. I think because the anxiety that I feel, well, I'll get to that later, but the anxiety and the numbness that I felt made me default to a place where I didn't want to talk because that would take up too much of my energy because I'm already tripping out inside or whatever, or I'm too focused because I don't want to appear high, Like when I'm high, I have to focus twice as hard. And then that also throws off the chemistry of like getting to know people and stuff because it's like, dude, why are you so focused on me? In my head, I'm trying not to appear as high as I am. Which isn't a good thing. I'm being honest. I'm just being, I feel I don't necessarily want this channel to be super sanitized. I like coming out here and speaking my mind. But I just found that weed makes me super antisocial. And today was a good day. I had an early day. I just got off work actually. So I cleaned this pool. Now I'm at home. So that's always a plus. Like I said, I don't have to drive my car because I have a work truck. It's parked outside. But my point being, I interacted with everybody. And in my head, I felt like it made sense in a strange way. And it's hard to explain. Just imagine somebody like being distant, right? But I guess not knowing why. Or basically what I'm saying is for me, I've been distant with people and I can feel that they can also tell that it's distant, and maybe it was cope or I didn't want to let go of the weed or whatever, but I just see that without it, I'm just a 10 times better Marcus. I don't have any of the anxiety, which always wasn't there. Maybe it was somewhat there, I believe, but the anxiety for me is really brutal. I can't relax. I'm in this weird fight or flight mode, and I just want it to stop. But it's weird because when I'm sober, I just want to be high. So it's a very strange phenomenon, honestly. And I guess that's addiction, but I just found it messes with me too much. And for the longest, I felt that it wasn't a big deal because I don't smoke a lot. I don't smoke pounds or well, that's a wrong. I don't smoke ounces, or I don't smoke 14 grams in 3 days. I smoke so little weed. You would think, well, how are you getting high, bro? I don't know. I guess honestly, I do see it as a win, because if I can take like a couple hits and then be fried, then it saves me money. But in this instance, that's what I'm saying. I need to quit cold turkey. And I did smoke recently, probably a couple minutes ago. Not a couple minutes ago, but maybe 10, 15 or so. And I notice the anxiety that I feel now is there. And I also don't feel like talking to people no more. I don't feel like interacting with people. Like, I interacted with a decent number. And it's not just interacting with people, actually being involved in the conversation is what I mean. But now I don't feel that involvedness. I don't feel like connecting with people. And this is my motivation that I won't do it again, because I just don't like who I become. But overall, I keep asking myself, why do I like this? And the answer truly is, I don't like this. I guess I'm just trying to figure out why I still do it then, you know? I guess because without weed, I honestly don't know what I would do with myself. Sure, I have hobbies and whatnot, but maybe there is a little bit of fear in me of figuring out like who I am without weed, you know? Because I'll be honest, that is the one thing I haven't tried. Going cold turkey. Now, I'm glad I did it for, I would say that was probably a day and a half stretch, which sounds hilarious, but I'm telling you, for me, that is a long time. And I was completely sober and I knew it. And things just made sense. Maybe it's all of it. I'm imagining, you know, in a combination, but I just feel like when I'm smoking weed, I'm just in like Wonderland. And I'm kind of tired of, you know, being wigged out all the time and being the guy who looks like he's calm but on the edge of like freaking out or doing something. I don't know. It's just boring. Everything else is boring too, but at least I don't have the anxiety. So I'm happy. And I have the day off. That was another thing. She gave me the day off, right? Well, it was like a half day or whatever, but it made me feel like, I don't know, the anxiety kicked in and I got scared or something. I guess, I don't know. The weed makes me very, I guess, paranoid, whatever you want to call it. Maybe, I don't know. I have a one-track mind when I'm on weed. I feel like when I smoke weed, I can't make any adjustments, right? Because I'm so locked in that like any adjustment throws me completely off, you know? I just don't like that. I don't like not being able to adjust to environments. If I come into a room and I was expecting one person and now it's three, I just like kind of shut down, or I get a lot more quiet, like. Or if I smoke weed and I get three more pulls that I wasn't expecting, like I get really irritated and I get really angry, and it's like I can't control my emotions. I just feel like weed all around is just total dog shit, man. I put up with it because in a way it was what I was familiar with, you know, but I just can't take the paranoia, the antisocial behaviors. And just everything else that comes with it. Life is better when I'm sober. It might not actually suck. Which is funny for me to say because I feel like I have a good life, but maybe weed makes me feel like this sucks, Maybe if I was sober, my happiness level would go up and I'd realize how much I actually have. I guess there's only one way to find out. I've already put it out there. From this moment on, I will not smoke any weed. And I still have vape. I can put like good juice in it. I mean, you're not supposed to vape, but I have some lemon tart in there right now. I can go get some blueberry. Maybe that's how I should reward myself. I should get some juices and stuff, and because that's okay. It gives me a buzz, but it doesn't really like mess with me mentally. I don't know. I'm just happier. I'll be better in a few hours though. I'm still actually kind of high. So this will be the last time. And that's what's so crazy. I only took a few puffs. I think that's what settled me into a state of like false sense of security, because it's like I only took a couple puffs, man. How bad could that be, right? Like I was gaslighting myself. I don't know. Well, there you have it. I'm gonna get sober. I know I said this before, but like genuinely 100% sober this time. And I don't drink too. I also want to make that known. Drinking's not really, it was never my thing. Gives me too much headaches, man. I don't drink enough water. That's probably why.